And a good morning to you. Welcome to December the 9th. The bottom line here on sportstalkguys.com. Glad to have you along with us this morning. Cold morning, 29 chilly degrees. I realized this morning, because I park outside because I'm not worthy of an indoor parking space, that goes to the remainder of the family. Try again. Now you're on.
I know about that.
Yeah. So, I've remembered something I've got to do. I've got to stop by. We were talking about the other day, the AutoZone right down here. Or is that Advance? Which one's down here? AutoZone. I got to stop by and get my Rain-X below 32 degrees defrosting windshield washer fluid.
Yeah. Gotcha.
This morning had to do a little scraping. So I got to prevent that. So I'll stop down there and get me some of that. And it really works. That stuff does really do a good job. So if you need a way to clean those windshields off, if you're sorry like me and have to park outside, that's a way to do it. How about some things still moving around? Okay, FIU has hired McAteer as head coach. Now, Todd Herms was at Subway last night when I was leaving, and he said that they even approached Western's head coach about that opening. But Florida International has hired Memphis defensive coordinator McIntyre. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. He's former coach at Colorado, San Jose State. He replaces Butch Davis, who went 24-32 and 1-11 this year. Where has Butch Davis been successful?
Miami.
That was it.
Yeah.
But he had a pretty good budget there. He could buy players that he couldn't buy anywhere else.
Well,
because he tried it at Carolina and that didn't work.
Well, no, right, but also, he was, a benefactor of the years that they'd had previous,
mm-hmm.
and it's still real exciting to go there,
mm-hmm.
and so I mean, and he.
But everywhere else, because wasn't he at the Browns?
But he put it, and he put it
mm-hmm.
together, and he continued to do okay.
But it's hard to go in and rebuild if that's not what you normally do. Richie, good morning. Because that's what he was looked to do at Florida International. That's what he's looked to do at Carolina. Where else was he at? I'm looking him up now. Here we go. All right, he was with he's 70 years old. I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I did not realize that. He started off at Fayetteville High School in Arkansas as a defense coordinator, and then Paul Huska High School in Oklahoma, Charles Page High School in Oklahoma, all as defensive coaches. Then at Will Rogers High School for 1 year as a head coach. Then he went Oklahoma State, Miami, Cowboys, defensive line, the defense coordinator for a year at the Cowboys. Is that the Jimmy Johnson years? 89 to 94?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And then from 95 to 2000, he was at Miami.
They were really good defensively, too, during that time. That was during the Super Bowl run.
Mm-hmm.
A couple guys from East Carolina played on that Dallas team. Robert Jones was one of them. He's a middle linebacker. He got drafted in the first round. Golly, man, that defense was good.
He must have really been bad at his other head coaching jobs, because in college he was only 87-75, and he was pretty good at Miami, and he was there 5 years.
I think that's right.
5 years.
That is right, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. So that was and then he got into the violations at Carolina. He was 51-20 at Miami.
Yep.
And he was 33-9 in the conference, but guess what? He wasn't in a real football conference. He was in the Big East. That's not a football conference. That could be weaker than the Pac-12. Then he went to Carolina, where he went 12-23, 7-17 in 4 years at Carolina. And in FIU, he went 24-32, 14-12 in Conference USA. And he got worse. He was second his first year, tied for second the second year, fifth the third, tied for fifth the third year, and then sixth in 2020. Of course, that was a short season. He didn't win a game. And then seventh this year. And then Carolina had all 16 wins in 08 and 09 vacated due to NCAA violations. In the NFL, he was 24-35 with Cleveland.
Well, I mean, that's
Cleveland.
All things considered.
I know.
Gee,
I'll give him that much.
holy cow, the fact that he won 24 games.
Yep. And, Richie, I
Jeez.
saw that. Virginia has moved away from Poindexter and moved back to Elliott. Elliott and his family were on campus yesterday from some of the reports that I saw. Poindexter apparently botched the interview. He asked the administration to lower admission standards for athletes. Well, that's probably a death knell right there trying to get a job.
Well, I mean, really, what standards do –
It's not like it's Stanford or MIT or something, right? Notre Dame. Then there was some nasty comments made by alumni and boosters. One even said he would rather ride at 6-6 with Poindexter than win a championship with Tony Elliott. Ooh.
Who said that?
An alumni. That's amazing.
Yeah, we don't know anything about the alumni either.
No, and let's just be honest. Yeah. Virginia's not a doesn't have a football-rich tradition in football. So I don't know how much. I'm not sure how much you need to put into that. But anyway, that's some of the stories that are breaking this morning. Now, Tony Elliott, from what I understand, has not been offered that position, but appears to be the front runner in that position. We're going to talk a little more football, and then we are going to talk a little baseball because you're the only one that can talk it that appears on this show. So, Ole Miss offense coordinator Jeff Lebby is headed to Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was a good pickup.
And I'm trying to remember, and Miami AD will be Clemson's Radovich. So there you go.
Yeah.
Now
is that happened?
That's what it's saying. This is per ESPN.
Okay.
So now Clemson's looking for an AD, defensive coordinator, possibly an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
That's a full rebuild right there. And then let's see. There was one more thing. According to reports, early signing changes are being discussed.
Yep.
Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby says shifting early signing period being discussed amid coaching carousel. What would your answer be?
Yeah, you just need to move it way back, make it earlier.
Either move it way back or put it back where it was.
Yeah, I just think go ahead and do it earlier. I mean, the guys are being recruited. Most Division I guys know where they're going anyway by the time they're into their football season or junior year. I know some people say that's not true. Yeah, it is. They got a good idea where they want to go. And then the Division II, III, the rest, just kind of pick up the pieces, or pick up, the diamonds in the rough. So go ahead and get that out. The other thing that would be helpful is for them not to allow any movement until after the national championship game.
But they can't do that.
No, I said it would be helpful.
Because there's no centralized administration.
Based on, where there's no –
ruling body.
Yeah, to say this is contract law.
Yeah.
So that's why, I'm a very, very much in favor of free market kind of guy.
Yes.
But at the same time, you got to fix the chaos, that's ensuing, or you don't have stability. When you don't have stability, success is not likely to continue to occur.
22 new coaches hired in this current cycle that we've got going on.
Well, nobody fired anybody from COVID, so you can expect there to be a carousel for about 45 years.
Yeah.
Because of the backlog. So you got to – what you want to do theoretically, Laney, in this situation is kind of like players. Because everybody got an extra year of COVID, so do coaches. So what it's going to take is about 4 or 5 years to wash it out of the system, right? So take about 20% more than what normal overturn is, and that's what – I say that likely to expect that over the next 4 or 5 years until it rights itself, and then things get back to normal. But it's going to take 4 to 5 years to wash it out of the system.
Some of it has been moving it to February, moving it later.
Yes,
Some people talked about moving it the day after the championship game.
Yeah, and that's fine too. I mean, my thing is I know this sounds crazy, but with modern technology and the ability to communicate, sometimes sooner's better. And the only thing that could likely mess things up for high school is that the kids would opt out after they say, I'm signing early, I'm not playing this year because I might get hurt.
Doesn't everything trickle down?
we have talked about that many times, both on the air and off.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, everything starts in the NFL and comes down.
If you sign, like Greg Sankey, he's the SEC commissioner, longtime opponent of the early signing period. He said that coaching changes and the foreseeable effects of it go back as far as 2009 when they did a white paper on it.
Right.
Now, because you have to have your class in place by mid-December, it's accelerated.
Yes.
If we change the signing date again, will it eliminate the accelerated timeline? I'm not sure it will, but we may we may have let the toothpaste out of the tube, which means you can't put it back. Sankey opposes an even earlier signing date in the summer. Now,
there's a lot of them that do, and I get it. I believe me, they got a lot of valid points with that. But I just think the sooner you know something, the better off you are.
So, this was the other thing. Even though you do that early signing period in December, you have not signed your national letter of intent, so you're still not really contractually obligated to go where you want.
My thing is the kids that want to graduate early to go on and play college ball, for example. You got a kid that plays his high school senior season and he wants to enroll in school in the next place. To me, it would make more sense if they went ahead and, did that. Now, the counter argument.
But that's what December 15th is.
No, I understand. But there's a lot of coaching movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the point is regardless of whether they do it December 15th or if they do it back in the summer, there's a lot of movement that's going to occur from November until February. Just by the domino effect.
But all of this needs to be coordinated.
There
needs to be some overview.
But ESPN's going to be in charge of it because of the money that it brings in. They're not going to do what is right. They're going to do what is right by the money. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the way that they can, they use this National Signing Day period because there's not a lot of bowl activity going on that day. So that all the focus can be on that. I get it. Not being critical, just stating a fact. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about, very briefly, and I promise I'll keep it brief, is the thing about trickle down. So normally what happens is, just like in our lives, things start with the grandparents, NFL, go down to the parents, college, high school, go down to the kids. So the reason that a lot of things, in my opinion, are happening that are trying to trickle up from high school to college to the NFL, and it won't work, is because for the first time in our nation's history, over the last 18 to 20 years, the grandparents have strived to be like the kids because of technology. Technology did a flip, okay, and it actually put the kids in charge. It put them in the forefront instead of the kids aspiring to be like the parents and grandparents because of connectivity and the ability to navigate quickly and instant information. They need it. They need the experience, not so much the information. That's kind of the misconnect with this. But what happened is that kids no longer really need to rely on mom and dad or the grandparents for information.
Right.
So it flipped. Well, what's happening is now again, this is just my take on it. It's starting to even back out now because the grandparents and the parents are technology savvy and can keep up now. So now things should theoretically get back to normal. But the reason I think that you try to see all this new innovation as far as, RPOs and things like that in high school and then to college and then to the NFL it is because of that flip in order, right? We talk about trickle down. The point is, and I'll say it again because we saw it the other night with Lamar, okay? Until your quarterbacks, and Lamar is faster than anybody, I get that. I'm talking about across the board, are faster than the defensive ends / outside linebackers. You can forget it.
Yep.
As far as RPOs go.
Quarterbacks didn't have speed.
Or the reads, because there's too many things that can happen. They get hurt. Lamar was limping the other night. I mean, not that you run and don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, NFL, it's 100%. You're going to get injured. But anyway, that's kind of the way that I see things, in the way things have flipped. But again, you need that experience of knowledge, not just the knowledge. And I think anyway, sorry.
That's there is a direct correlation between knowledge and the source of that knowledge.
Yep.
You may get the knowledge from doing the online thing, but you need the connection of how it was developed, how that knowledge came to be. You're just getting the raw data. You're not getting the whole meat of what the knowledge contains.
Yeah, it's like
and that's what you're missing.
No, it's like somebody saying 10 plus 10 is 20, and that's the only way it can be because I read it on this. Mm-hmm. Well, we all know that there's multiple ways to get to 20.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's where the experience.
Not
that's
enough depth.
That's why it doesn't like this. Younger, older thing. There's a reason that you have the hierarchy as far as the knowledge, and it's because of the experience and the mistakes that have been made. Mm-hmm. And you can't prep your kids not to ever make mistakes, both in the house and on the ball field, because that's how they learn. Mm-hmm. Failure is our greatest teacher, but yet we don't want anybody to fail. The first thing I do, my kids say, "Hey, can I go do this?" I say, "No, you can't. No." And I say, "You know what? Wait a minute. Yeah, because I want them to be able not to freak out when they hear no in the world.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't believe the amount of people that do when they hear no."
I just always tell mine, you're not going to like it in the real world.
I'm
just prefacing, I'm okay with it. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it because I'm not going to have to deal with it forever. You are. So, Andrew said, kids have the knowledge but not the experience to apply it. That's correct. Yeah. That's exactly right. I'm going to take a break, and then I want to come back to a comment that Richie made and just get your take because I see it happen so many times. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But we'll kind of delve into that in a minute.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Before we go back to the topic that I was going to talk about, let me hit high school football for just a second. 4 games. Brett Keever's going to win our little contest because he cheats because he knows too many sports. But other than that, here's what they look like. Brett won it in 18 and 19. David would have won it in 20. We really didn't do one because it's in the spring.
Yeah.
And then looks like, barring some miracle, he'll win it for the fall. Here were the picks for this week. For me, you've got Mitchell versus Tarboro in the 1A.
That's going to be a good
Shelby,
game.
Wallace Rose Hill in the 2A. Dudley, Greenville Rose in the 3. And Chambers, formerly Vance, versus Cardinal Gibbons in the 4. I went with a solid West sweep. I picked Shelby over Wallace Rose Hill, 35-20.
Okay.
I picked Mitchell over Tarboro, Dudley over Greenville Rose, and Chambers over Cardinal Gibbons.
You know, the only one there, and it's not a knock on Mitchell because they're really, really good, but Tarboro's been in that thing like 50 years in a row. So that's the only one that, you know, that kind of – but the rest of them, I mean, Dudley is deadly, as you can imagine, and, of course, Shelby is too.
Dudley, back in the day, if I'm not mistaken, Dudley was the football school in Greensboro, and Grimsley was soccer and basketball.
I thought Page was. The football school and Dudley was a basketball school. Because they didn't Dudley have a couple of 6'9" kids that won like 3 or 4 state championships?
Maybe
in
so.
Basketball. Now again, I'm just throwing it. I can't remember either. I'm just asking.
I'm going back and I'm thinking from Shrine Bowl and East West. I don't remember a Grimsley player, but we had some Dudleys.
Not Grimsley, Page.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody from Page.
But you remember the quarterback from Page that who was it that went to South Carolina that was so good?
I know who you're talking about.
Todd
Richie?
Ellis. Is it Ellis?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Richie or Lenny will know.
Oh.
They know everything.
Absolutely.
I don't have that much time on my hands. All right, let me go back to Richie's comment. Richie said Tarboro, Shelby, Chambers, Dudley. Yeah, I went all West.
That's good. I mean, Mitchell is a great, and I'm gonna tell you something. Travis Pittman's got it figured out up there. He does. They had a great article earlier in the week up there in their local paper. It may have been Asheville Citizen Times as well, but they were talking about how they made it such a community. And, I mean, it's up there by itself, right? Mm-hmm. So basically what he's done is he's gone and hired former players that are deeply invested in the community as assistant coaches, whether they work at the school or not. He cares not. But he's surrounded himself with, very loyal, diehard, and basically what they're doing is they're watering their own grass. They're cultivating the field. I mean, it's kind of anyway. I think it's really. I mean, I think it's great.
I agree.
Job. Yeah, I agree. And Darren Ponder, who's the head coach at West Lincoln, a good friend of mine, was the defensive coordinator and athletic director at Mitchell for years and years and years. And Darren did a really good job when he was up there. I really like Darren. He's a good fellow.
Yep, very quiet, but
he's a very good man.
Let me go back to a comment that Richie made, and I just want to get your take.
Okay.
And the comment is this, and I said this. One of the alumni said they'd rather ride at 6-6 with Poindexter than win a championship with Tony Elliott. Boosters and alumni were pushing hard for UVA
Right.
alum like
Right.
Poindexter to be the next
Right.
coach. So my question is, does that become a primary requirement that you hire inside the family? And I'm going to give you some examples here. Carolina did it,
Yeah.
and Matt Doherty was a disaster.
Yeah.
And I know Matt, and I've talked to Matt, and he's one of those that he would have done it different. But it's not. It doesn't always work out. Butch Davis. They went back to Butch Davis, and who was the guy? Two coaches before him. John Bunning. John Bunning was another one.
Yeah.
They went inside the family to an alum.
Yeah. I like Coach Bunning. He just couldn't sustain it. But I like him. I'm not Carolina. I'm not alum. I'm just saying.
And then you look at Clemson, for example. There was no alum. The closest they came was when they hired Tommy West, and that's because he had been on Coach Ford's staff.
Yeah,
hoping that would satisfy some folks, but that doesn't work.
It did not.
Do alumni really want it like that rather than to win?
Yeah, traditions, excellence, honor, all those things come with, universities that they pound that drum.
Ask the royal families how that's worked out.
I'm just saying, no, I'm not saying it works. I'm saying that's the, kind of the take on, this is the way it's always been and we're going to continue to do it this way. And what happens is when, you can keep, you can always have your traditions and maintain excellence on things, but you have to adapt as times change because the strongest don't survive, and that's where that pyramid messes up. It's those most willing to adapt to the changes, right? So that's kind of where that probably will not work out very well.
Now, and you're right, Richie. Mario Cristobal is a Miami alum. He played.
Yes. Oh, well,
now you go back. Now, look at Brett Venables. He's not an Oklahoma alum, but was part of a successful program with Bob Stoops.
Oh, yeah.
Got the Bob Stoops stamp of approval. Right. And the other thing, he's from there.
Right.
He played at Kansas State.
Right.
He grew up right there close.
Area. Yeah.
And to me, especially on the college level, that geographical tie means a lot from a recruiting standpoint.
Absolutely. Well, your name.
You understand it.
Yes.
And you understand it.
Yes.
Bob said Brendan Hayward was at Dudley basketball, and he played at Carolina. Marion Kirby, Hickory native, won 3 state championships at Page in the early 80s.
So okay, that's what
Page
he's
was
talking
the
about.
basketball.
Okay.
Back then.
Right.
So going back to what I was saying, how much do you allow that to be a part of your hiring decisions from a high school, college?
Absolutely. So from an interview standpoint, absolutely. But from hiring the best person for the job, no way. No way. You have to put the best person in, for the job, right? That you feel has the credentials. Mm-hmm. You've got to. It's not somebody that's got the potential to do it as much as it is somebody that's run the race or has been in the race, and shows that they can. They have those skills. Mm-hmm. Being a head coach is so different than being a coordinator. They're two different things.
Ronnie sums it up best. Ronnie said major
things.
College sports is a business now, not a sport anymore. Winning is a must.
It's been that way for the last 40 years.
I was getting ready to say, when I went to college in 1978, it wasn't fun. It was a job. It was hard. It was a job. And you have to want to be there. That's why I always admired Division III sports, because you were non-scholarship. It was more like a higher level extension of high school.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't money on the line, and you got to go in there and compete for a position. Mm-hmm. But no, anytime you're paying the guy in charge millions and millions of dollars, $80 million, $90 million, $100 million contracts, that's not for the love of the game or the kids. That's money business. That's what that is. Yeah. Link said not many major colleges have coaches who hang around for 30-plus years like the old Joe Pot, Penn State. And you're right, Link, and it's the days of some of these coaches. Well, I'll give you another example, like Coach Brown's record of wins at Maiden and some of these other coaches. That stuff will never happen again because nobody's going to let anybody hang around that long because they can't keep it at that level.
Well, nobody will.
Yeah,
but the world is different today. We are we went from a production-based society to a service-based society, right?
Right.
And so the things that people do now have changed drastically, like we just talked about, in the last 20 to 40 years. And so, now the theory is every 10 to 12 years, you pretty much run your course at a place, maximum. And then that's an average, okay? And then you need to go somewhere for several reasons. Number one, reinvigoration, getting the juices flowing again. It's very rare that people can stay in one place and keep it going that long. I mean, you're going to see that locally too, whether it be at local colleges or high schools, in the next 5 to 6 years. You'll see people that have been successful at such and such, and if they stay too long and they don't have a year or two, then basically they'll stop and go somewhere else, or they just won't coach anymore.
And there's no real.
It's unfortunate, but that's the way the world is today.
And there's no real consistent measuring stick that coaches can look at to where they feel comfortable that they're in pretty good shape. It's not a certain winnage percentage. It may be a certain opponent inside the conference that you can't beat, or you can't get to the conference championship. And I've always said you better be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
You may be in better shape before. The prime example I give for that, and there's two of them, and they were both during my tenure when I was in college. That was Dick Crum at Carolina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very successful.
Oh,
but did not fit the mold for what they wanted for a coach.
Right.
And the other one for me was Kenny Hatfield. Kenny Hatfield came in after Coach Ford, almost a 700 winning percentage, but he wasn't Danny Ford.
No.
And it wasn't good enough.
Tough to follow.
Yeah. Well, you never want to follow a legend. You want to be the second guy hired.
Yeah,
not the first guy.
Comes in and fixes it.
The one that comes in and fixes it after everybody's got over it.
After a 700 record, you're going to come in and fix it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
When they didn't fix it. It wasn't until Dabo got there. But,
right,
yeah.
But you know what I mean. So
I just don't like to talk about that. I'm sorry. I'm not as close as Dabo and Andrew. Richie said you aren't going to see a Coach K or Coach Williams or Dean Smith or any of those guys.
Think about that, though. He's right, because Coach Williams could have been there, 3 or 4 or 5 years earlier. Is that right?
Even more.
So Chad Holbrook, who played baseball at Carolina, he's from Shelby. His dad's Eddie, right? He's now he coached at South Carolina. He coached at North Carolina baseball. He's assistant and was head baseball coach at South Carolina in Charleston, college Charleston. Chad's wife worked in the basketball, I think that's right, basketball operations department. I was down there working at camp back in '99, baseball camp, and I was talking to Chad, and he was telling me, he said, Roy Williams is going to be the next coach at Carolina. I said, yeah, but he turned it down before, he said.
Time come home, Roy.
No.
We got you where you're
at.
at.
Said, but he just said last night on ESPN that he wasn't leaving Kansas. He wasn't interested in going anywhere else. He said he'll be here beginning of the week. Oh, man. Dude, he was in Chapel Hill 2 days late. But it was pretty, I think it was pretty understood. I
get that. Yeah. I get that. But would you not have rather stayed at Kansas and created your own legacy?
Well, I think he did. I think he did for 20 years, and then it was time to reboot. No, to your point. I mean, that's – But I think that's where times had changed, and he said, you know what, I got a chance to go back home because the guy is a local guy. He is. And, I got a chance to do this, not only in my home state, but where I went to school and learn from the best, and
sometimes they got to call his favors back.
Man, I'm telling you what.
Yeah. Link brings a great point up. He said John McKissick and Coach Brown, who won more high school games than anyone, he got the referee for both of them. They were very special coaches.
Yeah.
Those type of relationships will never be duplicated again because people don't have the same mutual respect of each other or the game
Yeah.
that it was. The game was what was important in those days.
Yeah, there wasn't anything. The Saturday morning, Sunday morning paper, and the matchups on Thursday in the paper were the social media or the media at that time, and that's kind of what everybody lived for, was to run to the mailbox and read the paper from Friday night's game. Today, you can get updates as it's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The engagement is different. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying the world is different. Mm-hmm. And the longevity of things, we're in a, make me happy now or I'm going to leave kind of thing.
Oh,
and, I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
No, I agree completely. Ian Rafferty, Link said, just got the job at Somerville High School down in Charleston, outside Charleston. He is John McKissick's grandson. Mm-hmm. Well, Sam Howell, quarterback at Carolina, is the grandson of Babe Howell, correct? From Silver Webster?
Yeah, Coach Howell also coached at Avery County for a while.
Yeah, but that's another connection there. Let me take a break. I got some golfing news, made headlines yesterday. I'll give you what it is in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
All right, welcome back. All right, I started down a rabbit hole with 4, and I ran out of time, so I'll tell it on the air. We were talking about Babe Howell, and Sam Howell is the great nephew of Babe Howell. Okay, he wasn't a son or a grandson. When we was talking about him, Sylvia Webster won state baseball championships. A baseball 2A championship in 74 and a 3A championship in 77, even though the school was still 2A size.
Yep.
And he became one of the few coaches to win 2 state championships in 1 year in 73-74.
Yep.
At his retirement, he was the winningest football and baseball coach in North Carolina with a 301, 121, and 6 football record and a 628, 220
That's incredible.
Baseball
That's
record.
Incredible.
Parade football All-Americans, okay? Parade football All-Americans, Ronnie Smith, Jimmy Streeter, Tommy Farr, Gary Cowan, and Streeter was named National Baseball Player of the Year in 77 when he pitched the Golden Eagles to a state title with a 23-1.
Yeah, he pitched every game.
He's in the Sports Hall of Fame, the North Carolina
every game.
Sports Hall of Fame.
I can't say that enough. He pitched every game
And lived to tell about it.
And
it's amazing.
Oh my God!
Glue on my
I'm not going to go down. I'm just going to let it go at that.
I know. Now, let me tell you the rabbit hole that I went down. And here's the rabbit hole. We were talking about old school, and Link may remember this guy. I don't know. Andrew said, I'm okay with the level of performance Clemson has had under Dabo. Andrew, stop. You pull for Duke in basketball. You're not a real fan. I pull for Clemson basketball.
No. Oh, no.
You need to get a grip.
No.
I've told him over and over, you can't be a fan by sport. You're either a fan or you're not a fan. I pull for Clemson basketball. They don't even play basketball. I've watched them. Anyway.
They got a team.
I know they do. They're just not very
they
good.
do.
They got a team. They just not very good.
Oh.
So
when
I went to the Shrine Bowl, we were talking about, Ford said they had a nose guard when Sylvia Webster came to Fred T. Ford in 1983.
Yeah, my dad was coaching at Ford. I was like 10 years old. I was a ball boy on the team, and it came down. It was first-round playoff games, and that's when all the Whiteners played at Ford, those guys that came through. And I think Brad Lutz was the quarterback that year. And I just, going back or whatever, but that rascal come out there, and I go up and I start tapping my dad on the shoulder. I'm like, Dad, their quarterback's playing nose guard. He said, boom. No kidding. It was a tough night. That dude had a full face, man. Had the 2 little bars here, had a full face. Had those Kramer pads on. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I wore.
And he was down at 4 points, had tape on his finger. And then he got out there and ran the veer. Got out there and ran the veer, on the other side of the ball. I was like, holy cow. That's when I realized what tough was.
And that's what I was telling him.
Awesome.
That's what we wore back in the day, and that's because you didn't do stuff with hands. It was all forearms. And I wore a pad. They didn't have any cloth. They were just the foam stuff on my elbows and on the top of my hands. That's what I wore in pads. That's what you did in the old school. Now, when I was in Shrine Bowl, I went to practice one day, and I didn't have my pads on. And I got a pump knot on my elbow, and I went to see our trainer, who was Warren Ariel. He had a physical therapy clinic in Shelby, and Mr. Ariel had been with the pros, college. I mean, he was the real deal. When you went in, we stayed. It's a retirement place now, but it used to be the Holiday Inn on North Trines where we stayed. And you went in his room, there were like 10 trash cans full of ice water. Okay?
Yeah.
You had an ankle,
yeah.
you had a knee, you stood in.
Yeah.
So I showed him, okay. So he sets me down in a chair, and I have to bury my arm this deep in that ice water for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Holy gosh, I thought I was going to die. It was another one of them things where I'll never come back.
People say
I'll
it gets
never
better
be
after
hurt.
10 minutes.
No, it does.
It does
No,
not. It's
no.
awful. It gets worse.
Yeah, Richie, we played at Memorial Stadium, and it was a sellout every year, 24,000
Yeah.
people. Yep.
Big deal.
Back in the day. We practiced
Big deal.
at Garinger is where we practiced because it wasn't far. And we ate at like a S&K cafeteria that used to be in the old Charlottetown Mall that's completely gone now. But, yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's traveling down memory lane because it made me think about it when you said that. All right, let's go back to here. Richie also says Brownell may not make it after this year at Clemson. Can't win at Clemson. They had some of the best coaches at Clemson.
I mean,
okay,
Rick
Barnes, Cliff Ellis. I mean they did as good as they could do. You can't be a powerhouse in both sports. That's why State, Carolina, Duke, and Wake will struggle. And Wake's just on a little run because the conference is so weak. But I'm sorry I said that out loud. But yeah. Anyway, I digress. Let's see if there's anything going on in the NFL that we may have missed out on.
Steelers and Vikings play tonight. They had an interesting piece on Kirk Cousins this morning. People give him a hard time and this, that, and the other, but that guy is a baller, and he wins. He's having like the best NFL season.
But so much of it is because he's kind of like Matt Stafford. He's never been wrapped around a team that can accentuate and take advantage of the talent that he brings.
No, you're 100% right, and that's what happened at Washington. He had some issues in college, right? But he worked through them, and he's a fierce competitor. And he gets back up. The guy gets hit. I mean, they made some really good points this morning. Talking about him and that as good a year as he's having, the Vikings are 5-7. They said, hey, look, it's more of a defensive issue than it is an offensive issue, and I think they're right. Looking into it just from the outside in. But,
I think it was Link yesterday that said the NFL needs to get rid of the Thursday night game, probably the Monday night game, because they're not good matchups. What they need to do, what I said, is all of those primetime games, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, do not need to be predetermined.
Oh, they don't need
to be
announced
flexed.
early.
They need to be flexed so that you.
Yeah.
Why would you not want your best matchup on
Well,
those
keep
nights?
the fans engaged too.
Right.
Flex scheduling.
I mean, let's be honest. Steelers and Vikings, that used to be a huge game.
Yeah.
But not at 6-5-1 and 5-7.
Well, see, it is now for the Steelers because the people like us that follow them are like. No, what I'm saying is,
but they
people
make
like
me
us
mad
that
to follow.
No, yeah. But now it's like you got to win out, and then there's a good chance you're going to get in. And so, the talk about, well, Tomlin's turning it around and this, that, and the other. I don't know if I mean, that may or may not be true. But you take that play that Baltimore ran, okay? Number one, the best defensive player in the league is the one that basically broke that thing up, or I'd say broke it up, kept it from materializing.
That's correct.
Because it was a tremendous play call. Tremendous play call.
Indirectly, because he didn't tip it. He wasn't guarding anybody, but he created the situation
because
that
of him.
made it almost impossible to make
right.
it a completion.
That's right. And, the Steelers were smart in that regard from a defensive standpoint. We talk about it from offense all the time. You really don't want to, like, when you need a big play, you really don't think of the play that needs to be run. You think of the players. What players need to be involved in this play? I mean, theoretically you would, right? So the Steelers' defense is like, okay. And you know what? The Ravens did the same thing. They put their best player, who's that tight end. I say best player. I'm talking about other than Lamar.
Right.
But that guy catches. I mean, he's an amazing player. And they got the ball in his hands. They sliced him back. Nobody was covering him off the fake. He was open, and it just barely tipped off his hand. They run that play 100 times, he's going to catch it 85.
But based on what you know, why would you not opt out and go away from what? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
You knew – I mean, this is a play that you had to at least think he could possibly be a disruption of what you want to do because you're going right at him.
And they did, and basically it was, to get rid of it and take him out of the play, but he ended up affecting the play, And Watt had a decision to make. He's either going to, jump that tight end. What I mean by jump is knock him off his route and then go to the quarterback, or he's going straight to the quarterback. He went straight to quarterback, and they won out this time on it. Whatever, but there's a reason he plays at the left defensive end.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
On a right-handed quarterback.
Yeah, there is a reason he plays there.
Yeah.
It's because they want to see him coming every time and think, oh, man. And they were right.
Link said on Kirk D. Cousins, weak offensive line everywhere he's been. Well, here's the deal, Link. I'm going to say 85% of the teams in the NFL are weak offensive lines.
Yeah. But to Link's point, as far as, where Kirk Cousins has been, because he had a tremendous college career.
And he was at Washington, right?
Michigan State.
But he was at Washington.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
And we all know how that turns out when you're talking about Washington. The other thing, let's see what we got coming up. I just hate it because college football's over.
I know. Oh.
I'm not happy about that. Yeah. We go to my NFL schedule. Any games of note? Pittsburgh, Minnesota.
Baltimore, Cleveland.
Yeah, at Cleveland. Jacksonville at Tennessee. Raiders at Kansas City. Of course, Andrew said he's talked to Dabo, and Dabo's going to the Raiders. The Saints at the Jets. Cowboys at Washington.
Yeah,
I talked to Bill Bender about that yesterday.
That'd be a good one.
The Cowboys are 6-5.
Yeah, and talk about the Cleveland Browns. Call them clowns. But, I mean, what is their problem? What we say it always is. Character.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Loose. Yeah.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
The Dirty Birds at the Panthers.
Yeah.
It's just what was on the end of the closet.
That may be the lowest viewed game in America.
The ACC championship game was the lowest championship game of the weekend.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not even close.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Seattle at Houston. Detroit at Denver. Did you see where Denver's for sale?
Yeah. So
3 point something.
Yeah.
Billion. Yeah. I just wonder who might step up.
I don't know if you're going to see an individual, if you're going to see an investment firm.
Right, but I'm just wondering if you'll have a front man like a Peyton Manning or a John Elway. Because I would think that they could – don't know how much John Elway will do because he has not been very successful. There again, staying inside the family. Detroit at Denver. Can Detroit get their second win? The Giants at the Chargers. The 49ers at the Bengals. Buffalo at Tampa Bay. That should be a good game.
Yeah, that'll be one.
And then Chicago at Green Bay, that's normally been a good matchup. But
Aaron Rodgers says, I own you. I own you.
Yeah.
He started that like 10 years ago. They've already started hyping it up for this week.
I
love it, man.
Somebody needs to let him feel one.
He needs to go to Pittsburgh.
Somebody needs to let him feel one. Kind of bring him back to reality.
Yeah.
And then the Rams at the Cardinals on Monday night. And we're at week 14. So there's 5 games, right? Or 5 weeks. Week 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
No, we got 18 weeks because we got 70 games.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So that's coming up. Let's see if there's anything else that I need to touch on before we get out of here because I got to go to Polk County. You ever been to Polk County?
Oh, many times.
Get to Polk County. You don't have to go through McDowell, but you got to go to
You can.
Polk. I know you can. I'm not going that way.
Well, you're going to go through Shelltown.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that either. But
stop at Bridges Barbecue.
I don't barbecue this early in the morning.
Lane.
It's too early.
No, it's never too early for barbecue.
Oh, yes, it is.
Barbecue.
No, I'm an egg man. I want my eggs. I ain't had my eggs today.
You are a breakfast guy.
I'm a breakfast guy.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. I can eat it 3 meals.
Well, then you need to go to Granny's Country Kitchen. They do it 3 meals there.
I'm going to, but I don't pass Granny's.
Yeah, but if you go 40, you will.
I don't want to go 40. Then I got to come down to Polk County.
Hey, man.
I'll run through McDonald's. Not the greatest in the world, but I'll run through it anyway. Have a great day. As far as I know, me and the professor will be back tomorrow morning. Have a good day, folks.